Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. I'm so honored to be connecting in with you in September, and I can't believe it is almost the end of September. My goodness, time goes so quickly. And what we've been talking about in September is how to fall into balance. This is a time that there's a lot of transition that can go on as we're shifting back to, in the States, we're shifting back to a school rhythm, people that are in school getting back to that rhythm and family, the fall, moving towards holidays. And all around the world, we have different transitions that we go through when we're looking at September and October. So it's a really good time to stop and check in and see, how are we setting ourselves up for success? How are we falling into balance? How are we purposely empowering ourselves to step into this coming fourth quarter in a powerful and impactful way? We have three amazing experts that are joining us today that are going to empower us around education and how to help all of that around education, around a balance. How do we step into action? I think it's great that we can have powerful, beautiful information, but we want to make sure that information gets to all the places it needs to get to and supports us to fall into balance, to take action. So we've got an amazing show lined up today. I know you're going to get great value out of it. So I invite all of you who are connecting in and joining us today to choose to be present. And I'm not talking about just in body that we're physically here, but let's really choose to inwardly tune in, be fully present, and listen. That's how we can receive everything that is here for you today. And I know there is something here for you today by the very nature that you tuned in. So let's honor that together as we connect in purposely and mindfully, becoming fully present to receive, open to receive all that is here for you today. Those of you who are driving, please stay safe, both hands on the wheel, no texting and driving. Those of you who are able to, let's take a breath. Hopefully everyone can take a breath. And sit back in your chair. Feel it fully supporting you. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, bringing you all in, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Take a breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth, like through a straw. Beautiful. And close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Keep breathing. This kind of breath helps bring us present, brings oxygen to every cell in our body, helps lower our stress levels, our cortisol levels, so that we have clear thinking and we're open and can receive. So keep breathing, and in this space, eyes closed, kind of tuning inward. What is it you need today? What is it that will encourage you, empower you, uplift you? What is it that you need to support you to fall into balance? What do you need to be empowered and supported to take action? What is it that you need today? Real time. That you are willing to receive because you have choice. So not only is it what is it that you need, but also are willing to receive because you have choice. See if that shifts the answer, the information a little bit. Wonderful. Great. Receive everything that is being given to you, that what it is that you need and are willing to receive to support you in taking action, to falling into balance. What is it you need? Beautiful. Receive that information. Take a breath. Come back into the room. fully present. Wonderful. And take a moment to write down what was laid on your heart. It is so easy to get distracted, to forget, to move on to that next shiny object and miss the answer that can be right in front of you. So let's take a moment to write it down, start creating it, bringing it into existence by writing it down so you can keep it top of mind. And I'm going to invite you, here's a stretch, I want to invite you to be unattached to how. Being willing to be open to the unexpected and wonderful way that need can be met real time today. Beautiful. Let's take a breath together. Eyes open and making sure everyone has their eyes open. Beautiful, fully present. We're going to go around our virtual room here, and I'm going to invite each of our guests to just take 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, and share heart to heart when they took a moment to stop, pause, and listen what was laid on their heart. And Dr. Cheryl Lentz, I'd love to start with you. What was laid on your heart?
Struggles are a bad thing when the seeds of opportunity are within those struggles.
Beautiful. And do you mind stating that one more time? I want to make sure everybody heard that.
Sure. The idea is to honor the struggles that you're going through. Most of us want to avoid them, but instead we need to honor them and know that there's wisdom and opportunity in struggles and to focus on them instead of trying to race through them.
Beautiful. I love that. You're right. We can be so anxious to just have the struggle over with rather than really embracing all that is there. Beautiful. Thank you for that, Cheryl. And then Dr. Yvonne, I would love for you to share what was laid on your heart.
On my heart is the passion for education. So as an educator, women have a passion to share that skill with others. We are brought into the classrooms, into the schools to teach academically, and within that academic realm, we also have to take into consideration the social emotional learning of others. And in that passion, it is very, very common that educators, and especially women educators, may forget that we are also people. And so we have to take care of ourselves, our social emotional learning, our well-being as women. And so that is an important element in balance.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Yvonne. And I think that's so important that we remember to take care of ourselves in every walk of life that we may have. Is really important. Thank you for sharing. And then, Dr. Teresa, I'd love for you to share what was laid on your heart when you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen.
I think if I had to name anything, what was most deeply laid on my heart was to learn and to remember to be appreciative of the here and now and spend less time thinking about, okay, what's next? Okay, then what's after that? Okay, then what's after that? Instead of doing that, I know with me personally, I need to just be present and bloom where I'm planted. And then whenever the next step presents itself, take that step then.
Oh, so beautiful. I love that. I think that's an important reminder for all of us. We're so good at what's coming next and planning and getting ready for that we miss the moment we're in because we're always looking at that next thing and trusting that we'll be ready for that next step as it presents itself and giving ourselves the opportunity to be present and fully in the moment. Really beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And listeners, as we get ready to go to our first commercial break, I want to invite you to use this time. You have 2 minutes as those commercials are playing in the background with amazing updates and things that we want you to be aware of. Stay present. I love what Dr. Teresa is just saying. Give yourself the gift of these 2 minutes to be present and receive everything that's being laid on your heart and on your spirit, so that when we come back together, we're coming back together in a connected place from the heart and being able to support one another on this amazing journey that we get to share together. So enjoy these 2 minutes, and we'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Be sure to friend us on Facebook. You can do it right now. Visit facebook.com/Voice America or search for us at keyword Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Get Unchained. Tune in every Monday for Jane Unchained on the Voice America Influencers channel, featuring nationally recognized best-selling author, TV journalist, and social media influencer Jane Velez Mitchell. This program takes you inside a trending lifestyle that's the next wave of human evolution. It all starts on your plate. If you want to revolutionize your life, get happier, more energized, then discover the secret. Tune in to Jane Unchained Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Influencers channel.
Rebecca Hall-Griter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you had a chance to check out Voice America's online magazine and blog? If you love our hosts and shows, check out articles that give an even deeper perspective, plus topics about health and fitness, movie reviews, philosophy, business tips and tactics, spirituality, positive thought, current events, and even more about your favorite host. It's just a click away at blog.voiceamerica.com. That's blog.voiceamerica.com. The Voice America Press Blog. All access, all the time. We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Griter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that it gave you an opportunity to process, to listen and process what was being laid on your heart and spirit. When we can take those pauses, those moments to be, to breathe, it helps us actually process things on a cellular level. We can integrate them into who we are. Instead of adding it to your to-do list to someday hopefully get to, it actually starts to become part of you. You'll have those opportunities throughout our show. I hope you lean into them and take advantage of that opportunity to breathe, pause, listen, and receive. We started our conversation today talking about falling into balance and empowering and educating ourselves and others to take action, that's an important part of that. And I wanted to introduce, you got to hear our guests from a heart level in our opening segment. And now I'm going to introduce them one by one as we go through interview segments so that you can tap into their amazing wisdom and insight. So let's lean in as I introduce our first amazing guest. Her name is Dr. Cheryl Lentz. She's known as the academic entrepreneur, and she is known globally for her writings on leadership and critical refractive thinking. In fact, she has been published 43 times, winning 22 writing awards. I just want to stop there for a minute and congratulate you, Dr. Cheryl, on that. That's just such a huge accomplishment. Congratulations, and I celebrate that. So huge. She is an accomplished speaker, a university professor and consultant, is a #1 international best-selling author multiple times over, and she has been quoted as a top professional in major media like ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox. And she is passionate about bringing doctoral studies and information and research, those findings, to the world, because that can bring powerful transformation around the world. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing and dynamic Dr. Cheryl Lentz to the show. Welcome!
Such a warm welcome. I can always hear the crowds in the background. Thank you, Rebecca. It's great to be here.
You're welcome. I can hear the crowds too. I love that. We're all cheering you on. Beautiful. Well, welcome. And I'd love for you to share a little bit of why you're so passionate about particularly the work that you do with the refractive thinker. I'd love for you to share about that.
Well, part of what I realized when I became a scholar more than a decade ago is how much information that we scholars do research on, but it gets stuck in academia because we are so regimented and there's such specific boundaries and policies and standards and protocols for research that we spend years researching things and researching areas for which businesses have questions. And that's where that academic entrepreneur comes in. And so my goal is to be able to bridge that gap, is to connect what we find in academic as scholars that can address questions that are held by business owners and to be able to connect the two and build that bridge. And so I'm really passionate about trying to be able to not let that information get stuck, because knowledge is power, wisdom is power. And we scholars, that's what we do, is we do research. And not a lot of businesses sometimes have that time. So why not outsource, right? You do what you do best and you outsource the rest. And I think of it as being a connector, trying to put the two together.
I love it. I love that you're a connector and building that powerful bridge. Now, how is what you do with the Refractive Thinker? Do you mind sharing a little bit about what the Refractive Thinker series is for those who this might be new to, and how is the work that you do around that different than traditional publishing?
Really great questions. Our goal has always been to try and put doctoral level research in a more digestible format. So we created a series, and it's only for doctoral scholars. There's 27 different types of doctoral level degrees. And so we will have one book that will have one topic that will have multiple authors from around the globe. And it is amazing to have this connective ability and the power of community of scholars that will, for example, our book that we're talking about today is the idea of culture. We have project management that's coming in the spring. We've done things on cybersecurity and healthcare and nonprofit, but a group of doctoral scholars coming together, and they each take a chapter, so that you can, in 10 to 12 pages, take it and encapsulate an executive summary of that research in a much more marketing format, easier, not with all that academic gobbledygook is a technical term, right? We want to make it so that you can take away what we learned in the years of study and put it into applicable, small, bite-sized nuggets that you can use today to connect theory into practice.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I know each of your anthologies, each of these powerful refractive theory books, refractive thinker books that you bring forward always have a really powerful forward writer. Do you want to share a little bit about some of the forward writers you've had?
Oh, absolutely. For nonprofit, we had none other than Frank Shankowitz, the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We have had Sally Helgeson, who is one of the top 15 women leaders in the world. We've had General Fogelman, 4-star Joint Chief of Staff, former retired general of the Air Force. We have had all kinds of amazing folks, from the founder of Foundational Medicine, or Dr. Gladys. And so we try to find an influencer in your language to be able to give us that starting point to show how they have culminated in all of their life's work to lead our charge at the beginning of their series. And without further ado, we just have our forward writer for project management in the spring, and it will be a former NASA astronaut. So we are so excited to bring all of these amazing people who've done wonderful things that can lead us in the specific topics we've had, so that they can show why what we do as scholars impacts their world as business leaders and thought leaders.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And as our time here comes to a close before, not our full show, everybody listening, but before our next commercial break, I wanted to see if you had a piece of advice or a thought that you would like to share with our listeners as they get ready to take a moment to stop, pause, and listen.
I think that is a key aspect of us, is to look at education and inspiration comes from a variety of places. Many of us think that schooling is only in the boundaries of the traditional classroom. And I am one to be able to look at traditional classrooms as a starting point of the conversation, not the end of the conversation, so that all of the education comes from your colleague sitting next to you, the person you meet on the bus, the postman who delivers your mail, the scholar that might deliver some research to you. And we're all connected in that larger community, and that's where the education comes from. And not to overlook any of these areas, because you would be amazed at where education and inspiration might come next.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, listeners, thank you so much for sharing, Dr. Shirley. Just so appreciate it. And listeners, as we get ready to go to our next commercial break, I want you to keep in mind what she's sharing. And as you're taking these 2 minutes to stop, pause, breathe, and integrate what is being shared into your heart and spirit, kind of think about, where has education and inspiration come to you so far today? And how might you be able to bring that to others, share inspiration and education, and uplift others too? We'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Think you've seen everything there is to see in online television? Let us surprise you. Visit voiceamerica.tv today for sports, health, business, and more on demand 24/7.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Sustainable success is just around the corner. If you are an entrepreneur, business leader, or anybody looking for their next level of success, tune into Sustainable Success with host Chris Salem. Did you know that the path to success is a long path that started many years ago? The path you started on then determines what is happening now. Chris and his amazing guests in their field will help you navigate the path to sustainable success every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Time and 9 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Influencers Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Tune in to the Voice America Variety channel on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Voice America Variety broadcasts a diverse array of topics, reaching a global community. Our experts come from all walks of life, and the topics they discuss are everything from current events, arts and entertainment, leadership, parenting, relationships, self-improvement, career advice, and a variety of other topics. Check us out today. You're sure to find something of interest. Voice America Variety. Talk on today's hot topics.
Change starts here. Change starts now. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and really took that opportunity to think about, how are you being inspired, being educated? What are you learning as you go through life? and being inspired by? And how are you sharing that and inspiring others? It's a great thing to check in on and see. As we come back together, I'm really honored and excited to share about a special book. Now, this amazing organization called 2x2 Health believes so much in you as a listener in the show and program. They have put their brand, time, energy, and resources behind us to help us bring this show around the world and to lean into each and every one of you. And they recently released a book that I want to share with you about. So the organization's name is called 2x2 Health. So it's 2x2, so 2x2 Health, Private Health Concierge. And the book they recently released is called The Confident Patient. It became a #1 international bestseller. It was written by Wendy K. Benson and Elizabeth A. Myers, and it's available on Amazon in print and Kindle, and they even have an Audible version. They want it available for everybody around the world in whatever format serves you best. And it was designed and created to help patients and caregivers, virtually anyone who has a health care issue that comes up or knows somebody it is, to actually navigate through all those decisions and choices and information in a very empowered and confident way. They want you to be able to get the support that you need in any sort of healthcare crisis, transition, surgery that may happen. And they, here's what some of their, I have so much I want to share about this book. It's an incredible book. And I love that they actually give you questions to ask, because I think sometimes sitting in that doctor's office, we don't quite know what to ask. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what some of the terminology means. So there's even sections in the book that share what doctors wish you would ask or know. And they empower you around what all the different terminology things mean, things to be aware of when you are looking at having surgery or looking at going through any sort of a healthcare need. Here's what one reviewer said around this book. The Confident Patient is eye-opening, informative, engaging, and easy to understand. A must-read prior to any healthcare encounter. And that was by Patricia Rolu, who is a patient safety author and radio show host. So I just want to encourage all of you to consider adding this powerful book to your library. We all have times that we need support with the healthcare system, and isn't it amazing if we knew the questions to ask so we felt empowered, less anxious about any sort of a procedure that we need to have. So again, that book is called The Confident Patient. I hope you lean in, check it out, and I want to thank 2x2 Health for making this available to all of us today. So as we transition, speaking about confidence, I feel like part of falling into balance, when we can be empowered and educated around areas, then we know the action to take, and we can take the action with more confidence. I feel like these all tie together powerfully. And our next amazing expert is absolutely passionate about education, so I'm very excited to introduce her to you. Her name is Dr. Teresa E. Sanders, and she has spent 14 years advocating for students and parents as a public school teacher, and then she is an educational columnist writer, and she has extensive experience in social and human services, including special education and teaching adults at the university level. She is a well-respected presenter and #1 international best-selling author, and again is absolutely passionate about education and how that is so important in all of our lives. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful Dr. Teresa E. Sanders to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You are welcome. I'm thrilled to have you joining us today. And I loved how you tied in your share about blooming and shining. That's something we talk about on our show so often. So I could feel everybody leaning in as you shared and reminded us about that. So thank you for opening.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so beautiful. I'd love for you to share a little bit about why education is personally so important to you. You've dedicated so so much of your time and energy and intellect to education and helping people in this. We'd love to know why it's so important to you.
Education, the way I see it, has the potential to be the great equalizer. And what I mean is, regardless of where you started, your baggage, your history, your story, the ability to learn, to master a skill, to dive into education and be successful can change lives. I don't believe that there's a situation where a person might find him or herself that cannot be changed with some level of education, whether it's being educated about how to parent your children, how to fix a car, all the way up to earning a doctorate degree or even more than that. To be able to learn, it's a game changer for everybody. And
beautiful.
So for me, you know, I have a supervisor. I had a former supervisor who, bless her heart, Frances, I love her so much. She told me one time, she says, "Teresa, you're such a justice fighter." And it's true, because I fight for that underdog. And I want the underdog to know that you can have more and you can do more. And this is one of the ways to do it. So that's why.
Beautiful. I was sitting here nodding for emphasis with all that you were sharing. So powerful, so beautiful. And thank you for taking that stand for all of us, because we have all felt like an underdog at one point or another in our life, especially if we're going through a struggle or a challenge. I know Dr. Cheryl had that on her heart in the opening segment, that it's such... it's so encouraging to know that you're taking a stand for us and that education can help us, especially in those moments when we feel like the underdog. So beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you were to suggest one thing that we could do that would improve the lives of educators, because if the educators are helping us as the underdogs in those moments of need in those areas, what can we do to improve the lives of educators that are supporting us and cheering us on?
I think one of the major things we could do is allow educators to be the primary decision makers. I believe that educators at the ground level who are in the trenches are the best to go to when you're looking at making changes in the trenches. And unfortunately, we have the site-based decision making and we have all of that, but the reality is ground level educators rarely get an opportunity to chime in on decisions that are made that will directly affect them. And so if educators' voices were valued more, I think we'd see some drastic and positive change in education. However, it's the people who are several levels above the classroom who are making decisions, in some cases having never taught before. And, you know, you make decisions that look really great on paper, but in reality, they're not feasible. But teachers, dedicated teachers, will give it the old college try every day to try to make a square peg fit into a round hole. But they try. They keep trying, and they keep trying.
Yeah.
And
well, thank you
where,
for...
you know...
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that's really important, a reminder that they are on the front lines every day, educating, supporting, and lifting up, and their voice would be so valuable to include in those decisions that are being made at even a higher level than sometimes they're heard. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. And then we've been talking a little bit about balance today. And is there a way we could promote balance in society from your research and findings?
Yes, this is, as it relates to balance, and I'm going to tie it to responsibility as well. The responsibility for educating our students does require balance. The balance would fall equally between educators, parents, policymakers, students, and the community, the village. Everyone has to do their part. If we could get everyone to do their parts, I think that balance would come just naturally. But as it stands for the situation that we have now, I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of Dr. Gonzalez's statement around we are caretakers, especially female teachers. We tend to be nurturers. We tend to be those caretakers. We the children are our babies. We bundle them up under our wings. Well, we have wings too, but we also need to be under someone else's wing. And so we have to step back and remember we have to prioritize what's important to us, what comes first, and then what can come next. For some educators, it'll be the children first, then their families, and then the policies. For other educators, it'll be the policies first, then their children, then their families. Balance is going to look different to everyone. However, I think that ultimately balance does need to be shared between the community, policymakers, educators, parents, and even the students.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I love how we could all look at balance a little bit differently, but it starts with getting clear on where are we in that and what does it look like for us, and then expanding the vision to the schools, to the community, etc. And that can really bring balance personally as well as on a society level. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, I want you to all think about, what does balance mean to you? So as we take these next 2 minutes, really see what's being laid on your heart and to your spirit around a balance, and check in. And are you feeling in balance? And what do those priorities look like for you? What's first, second, and third as you are looking at your relationship to balance? We'll look forward to talking to you all in just 2 more minutes.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN. Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
There's a new force to be reckoned with in talk radio. It's Not Just Talk Radio, hosted by LaTanya Jr. and co-host Tina Wynn and Tony Brown. Not Just Talk Radio is like a superhero, inspiring, problem-solving, and informing, packed with action-provoking conversations from news, movements, and social and politics issues. This program is about a wide range of voices and fresh points of view from experts, celebrities, and you, the listener. Not Just Talk Radio is broadcast live Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Influencers Channel.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Become a member of VoiceAmerica.com. It's easy, and best of all, it's free. Start out by going to our homepage or any of our channels and click Register at the top. Once you've created an account and signed in, you can create your own custom library, opt into our newsletter, search by show, host, guest, or topic of interest, or browse millions of hours of content across all of our Voice America radio channels. Membership gets you more. Visit VoiceAmerica.com today to get started and tailor the listening experience to your taste.
We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. We have been talking about falling into balance, the importance of education, and some of the things we can do personally and in the community to find that balance and step forward in it. So we're continuing our conversation. I'm very excited to introduce our next amazing guest. Her name is Dr. Yvonne L. Gonzalez. She has a doctoral degree in leadership, a master's in education, is an international best-selling author, and has 19 years experience in public education. She has written curriculum for a school district and facilitated district-wide professional development. She is passionate about helping teachers and students achieve a high level of success. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and dynamic Dr. Yvonne L. Gonzalez to the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Rebecca. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm thrilled to have you joining us today. And I'd love for you to share, why is helping students and teachers achieve a high level of success? Why is that personally important to you?
Personally, it stemmed from a long time ago when I made a decision to become a teacher. My mother's best friend had a daughter with Down syndrome. And I remember hearing over and over that she was never going to be able to learn anything, that she was incapable. And so I remember that affected me deeply back at the time, during that time. And then after that, it was a comment that my father's family made to him and said to him, "Your children are never going to amount to anything." So looking at that early start, I started to press forward with the idea that you are so much more than the worst thing that you've heard about you. And so I went with that and I ran. And so it is very important for me because all children, special education, slow learners, English language learners, or those that are learning a different language, all have the capability and the ability to learn. We were created in that aspect. And so as an educator, that is my passion, is that they can all learn. So by the same token, by the students that are waiting for us to share our skill with them, we as educators can also learn. We can also grow and learn from each other. You know, as I consider myself a lifelong learner, and I think that is where scholarship comes in with us as doctoral scholars, is that we just continue to learn. Just because you've got the doctorate degree doesn't mean that the learning stops here. We continue learning on a daily basis. So that is important.
No, thank you so much for sharing. I just want to take a moment and appreciate so much of what you shared. I just feel like there's you have this powerful energy and conviction that was created by some of those things that people said, that you just carry forward with such conviction to remind us that we can all learn, that we can all grow, and it's important that we do that. And I loved what that phrase that you said about, we are so much more than that worst thing we've heard someone say about us. And we need to remember that, because those are the voices sometimes that can stop us, and we repeat them to ourselves to remind ourselves of the truth that we are so much more than that. And I want to thank you for sharing that. Really powerful.
Sure.
I'd love for you to share. Yeah, absolutely. And that the learning never stops. Like, we get to keep growing, we get to keep learning, and that's important too. So talking about education and learning, how does culture affect education and educational planning? What are some things we should be aware of in that?
For women, since this is about empowering women and balance, I think that for myself, and I think I speak a little bit on this with Teresa's aspect in terms of I am a Hispanic woman, a minority women. Education isn't something that is just freely available. And so where culture is concerned, that is where sometimes the success is driven around who you are and not necessarily what you know. And so it is incumbent upon us as women to embrace those and really try to reach out and teach others rather than taking it personally and perhaps being it an inhibitor to one's own success.
Really beautiful advice and great wisdom. I appreciate that. And remembering not to take it personally, but being willing to educate and build that bridge, be that connector. Beautiful. And I know that you were part of the Refractive Thinker series. I wanted to see if you were interested in sharing a little bit about that, what your chapter was about, and just give us a little taste.
Yes, absolutely. I'd be happy to. Our chapter was co-authored by the three of us. And what we did was we thought it important to discuss what the undiscussables of culture are. So many times in education, and because a little bit of what I spoke about right now regarding culture, it's difficult to discuss some topics because you might say the wrong thing, because you might offend somebody, because it might be interpreted differently. And for those reasons, it's important to talk about those, because if we're going to make a difference, we've got to start to discuss those undiscussables. And so if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? So we took it upon ourselves as three powerful women to put those ideas together. And I encourage everyone to pick up a copy of that book. It is really empowering, and it discusses culture as a basis from which we can build on for those difficult topics in the workplace, whether it be in education or in business. It is really a topic that can be included in all realms of life. And so those things are included, and that's what we did, was we highlighted those in our book.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone is excited to lean in. I mean, what a gift to be able to have three powerful women come together and share some of these things that we're afraid to talk about. We're afraid of offending, and to really empower and pour into us so that we can talk about those things and do so in a much more educated and empowered way. Thank you so much for sharing today. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you could join us.
My pleasure.
And then, absolutely. And Dr. Cheryl, I wanted to see if you could give the title of the book and where they can pick up a copy if they're wanting to lean in.
Absolutely. The entire series can be found at www.refractivethinker.com. It is something that has all 19 of our various opportunities and volumes, and this particular one is volume 17, Managing a Cultural Workforce, the Impact of Global Employees, and this is the foreword was by Brian Smith, and he is the founder of UGG Boots. Who knows more about international culture than someone who has written about and created the UGG Boots brand from Australia and a billion-dollar brand around the world. So it was an exciting book to put together, and it's been wonderful working with these three ladies in our Chapter 10 as well.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And then while I've got you, how can people follow you, learn more, stay in touch if they want to continue the conversation with you?
Thank you. Easiest way is just type in Dr. Cheryl Lentz into your browser, and you're going to find all kinds of things from my YouTube channel to drcherylentz.com, my website, and drcheryllentz@gmail.com. So lots of ways to find me. I hope they'll connect with me.
Beautiful. Thank you. I hope so too. Wonderful. And then Dr. Teresa, I'd love for you to share how people can lean in and connect with you as well.
Absolutely. On Twitter, I am at Dr. Teresa Sanders. And I can be emailed at teresaesanders@gmail.com. That E is definitely necessary. And it's Teresa with no H. And I have a professional page on Facebook, and it's Dr. Teresa Sanders.
Perfect. Thank you for reminding us about the E, because we can move fast.
Yeah, that E is really critical. Yes.
Perfect. And then Dr. Yvonne, I'd love for you to share how people can get in touch and stay connected and go deeper with you.
I will be happy to answer any questions. You all can connect with me at Yvonne, YVONNE1615 at sbcglobal.net.
Beautiful. Thank you for making yourself available in that way so that we can ask questions and get support on our journey. So beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And listeners, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. I hope that you have started to explore finding your balance or have checked in and seen, okay, this is how I want to define balance now. These are the steps that I want to start taking in my life. Here's how I'm being educated and empowered. Here's how I want to pass that baton on. Here's how I want to educate, share out, and inspire others. We've had beautiful resources shared with all of you on the show today. I hope that you lean into all of them, and that as you get ready to go back out into the world, you remember a couple things. Remember that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, on purpose and for a purpose. And in fact, I believe you were made for such a time as now. And one of the biggest gifts you can give the world and you can give to the people around you is being willing to share more of you. Being willing to share all of your gifts, your talents, and your abilities out in the world in a way that people get a chance to connect with you deeply and fully. That's how we can make a global difference, heart by heart, life by life, reaching out to each other so that we can support and empower each other around the world. Because life is not a solo journey. I don't know where that myth got started, but we're on a mission to spread the truth that we actually get to be on the journey together. And these three powerful women have come together to lean into you. And I hope you feel that support lifting you up, and that as you get ready to go back out into the world, you actually take a couple moments to process what is being shared into your heart and your spirit. You carry some of that wisdom, insight, and information with you, and you take it back out into the world. That's a huge gift to every person's life that you touch. And I want to thank you for being part of our family, for leaning into this journey, and that wherever you go, whatever you do, may you choose to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone. I'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Griter, next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Influencers Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.